Hello, this is Todd Summers, Director of Research and Development for SoftWrites. In today's video, I'll be presenting new capabilities for TAP 7.6.4, released in September of 2022. There are a number of minor upgrades throughout TAP. There are two big ticket items. First one is the ability to do integrated building downloads within TAP. And the second is the ability to do custom maps with a local MBTiles file. First off, we'll start with the building downloads. You'll notice, for those that have used TAP previously, that to do the obstructions pull from OpenStreetMaps requires internet access, and that was chiefly done through Mapper in the past. You had a Mapper obstructions tool that you could find an area and then do a pull of obstructions to that area, or with your path preview within Mapper. We've now incorporated that within TAP 7. So for your path studies, coverage studies, AutoPath studies, or AutoCoverage studies, you can do building downloads within TAP. You'll notice for a path study, this is one from Castle Rock to a facility in downtown Denver. This is the Castle Rock demo facility with a 6 gigahertz link. You have surface features under the surface feature tab for path studies, as well as the other study types. You can select clutter type as surface features, and you'll notice down below there is now a download buildings button. If you click that, you get the OSM building download dialog. You can use a default shapefile location that's going to go out. It's going to go out to OpenStreetMaps from multiple online locations and pull down iteratively building data for this path that I have defined, plus and minus a Fresnel zone on either side, and it's going to write it to a shapefile. This is the default location for that shapefile. You'll notice it's in your TAP shared surface features folder, and then we create a TAP demo project, path studies, and so on. So in your project path studies, there's a folder that's created within your public TAP shared surface features folder. If you wish to change it, you can click shapefile and define your shapefile location to be whatever you want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and just click start download. It'll update and say that it's starting the building download, and then it'll give you updates as it completes. It breaks it into multiple sections and then does the downloading over each of those sections. Here is your update in terms of time. When it completes, it takes that data, it will write a shapefile, and then it will tell you at the very end how long it took, and if it fails on any of the tiles, it will subdivide the area and it'll retry automatically. So that in the past, if you had a failover section, you had to rerun the whole thing. The tool now automatically subdivides the area that failed, the tile that did not come back or timed out. It'll automatically go and resend that and then get that data in. So as this completes, it'll keep dividing, redividing until it is complete. You have the option while it's running to cancel the download if you wish, but we'll let this go ahead and run to completion. All right, on completion, it tells you it downloaded 806 buildings, the time it took. Of these 806 buildings that were pulled, 241 of the buildings provided no height value. So in some locations, you're going to have really good building data in terms of having data covering the full area or the full path that you care about. And even when you have that, sometimes you have some of the building data is returned with no height value from the online database. Over time, these databases are improved, and eventually over time, ideally it's going to get better and better for each location. But these 241 buildings have 241, so a little over a quarter of these buildings came back with no building height. So click OK. This brings in the shapefile. This brings up the shapefile surface feature properties dialog, and then you can select the default height to be used for those buildings that came in with no height. In this case, I'll use 9 meters or roughly 30 feet. Click OK, and the buildings are loaded in. You can see here the buildings show up as little raised pieces along this. Now, for topo data, when you're doing surface features, you typically want to drop your topo step a little bit tighter. So go to meters. I want to make it 10 meters, so it's going to catch all of the surface, all of the buildings that were returned. You'll notice I've gone over my 3,581 points here is over my 1,500 auto draw limit. So I manually redraw. Click the draw profile. And now you can see the buildings, including clipping from some tall buildings in the downtown area. Flip over to the map view, you can see what was pulled in, specifically in the building area, downtown area. So this is the building data that came in, plus and minus a Fresnel zone on either side. So plus and minus a small amount on either side, anything that clipped that's nearby. So that building's there. Now you can use it in your studies for your path study and so on. For coverage studies, it's very similar. So if I have a tile study, this one was plus and minus 10 kilometers. I created a tile study downtown Denver. I'm going to set it up and I'm going to run it. And while I'm doing that, while it's doing the pull for that, I'm going to go ahead and do the MBTiles. So let's go and under surface features for this one, click clutter type, surface features. We'll click download buildings. We'll use the default location. We'll click start download. And for the area, it's going to take longer to run. So especially in dense urban areas, it's going to take longer to run. So now it's like 6% downloaded. It's going to give us progress as we go. So while that's going, I'm going to go to the next topic, which is MBTiles. With TAP, you see the base map within TAP is typically runs off of an online source for that data. There are folks that operate behind firewalls or without internet connections that want to be able to have base map layers when they don't have the internet connection. In order to facilitate this, we incorporated the ability with 7.6.4 to use an MBTiles file locally loaded on your machine that will have sets of tiled imagery that will be used as base maps. To set this up, we open up QGIS, which is freeware that you can use. When you first open up, you get a template, new empty project. Just click that, open it up. On the left side is your browser pane. You'll see under there an XYZ tiles section. And with my XYZ tiles, I have multiple layers listed. Bing Aerial, got a few Google ones, and then OpenTopoMap, OpenStreetMap. So the way these are set up, you can right click here, select new connection, give it a name, and then copy in the URL. For all of these, there are URLs that are available online. You can easily find the URLs online. If I go to like Bing Aerial, click edit, you'll see this is what's used for that. Google Earth Base Map, click edit. That's what's used for that. So you can find these online. If you have any issues, you can always contact support@softright.com and I can provide a list of these. For OpenStreetMaps edits, that's what OpenStreetMap's URL looks like. You just put OpenStreetMap as a name, put the URL in there, click OK, and then it loads in. So for all these XYZ tiles that I have loaded into my local QGIS, I can then double click on one of them and it loads in as a layer that is shown here. For this particular one, I can go to like Denver, Colorado. This is all coming from the online source as I'm zooming in. I can also do, say, Google Hybrid. If I take off Street Maps, it's now downloading that. This takes a little bit longer to run since it's satellite imagery. Go back to the OpenStreetMaps, that one. Okay, so Google Hybrid may take a little bit longer to come in because I'm running the video recording right now. So OpenStreetMaps, pop that up. And say we're interested in the future when I lose my internet access, I want to have this area defined to be able to use in my studies. So to create an MBTiles file, I first have my layer loaded over here, my OpenStreetMap layer. That's the only one I want. Go over to Raster Tools, expand that. You'll see over here, Generate XYZ Tiles, MBTiles. Double click that. First entry is extent. You can enter that manually, or you can click here say select extend on canvas, pull an area like so. And you can set your minimum zoom level. You'll see this goes all the way down to 0. 0 is zoomed all the way out. And then 18 is usually about as tight as we go on these. For this one, so I want it to run quickly, I'm going to make it a 13. So it's going to run in the time of the video. Typically, to get down to like street level, you're talking about a zoom level of about 15. The tighter you go zoom-wise, going to 16, 17, 18, the larger this MBTiles file is going to be. Additionally, if you use imagery files and do this, the larger your file is going to be. OpenStreetMaps is a little bit less intensive in terms of memory required for these. Down below, you can leave DPI, background color, tile format, quality. You can change those if you like, or just leave them as they are. For my output file for MBTiles, you can click on this, click Save to File. For mine, I have a tap shared offline maps MBTiles file. You can see the other ones that I've saved previously. This one I'm going to call video. It's good to put in the imagery type in the name and the zoom levels in the name. 0, 0, Z0, some 13. So this is my video, one I'm doing for the video, OpenStreetMaps, zoom level 0 to 13. Click Save. And then down below, click the Run button. It'll tell you as it's sequencing through and then pulling tiles for different zoom levels. So right now I'm at 8%, almost instantaneously. It's 12%. That's going to keep rolling until it completes. While it's doing that, let's go back and look at this one. So for that area there of downtown Denver, it pulled in 128,629 buildings, 128,000 buildings in 3 minutes, 42 seconds. Say these buildings, of these, about a third or so came back with no height value. It also noted that at least one tile failed download. You can click retry download to retry the download and pull in the missing data, or you can proceed from there. So I am going to click OK. I'll note down here that QGIS is finished. It's pull. I use default of 9 meters for these. Click OK. And there's my building data that came in for that area. And then I can run my coverage study using that building data. It's more robust, easier to use than what we previously had. Big upgrade as far as integration within Tab 7 versus having to go to Mapper and go back and forth. Note though, within Mapper, if you see missing buildings here that you want to add manually, you can still open that up using the obstructions utility in Mapper and manually add features to that and then resave it. Going back to QGIS, it is finished. It loaded in up through zoom level 0 to 13. We'll close this and go back to Tab. For coverage, Basemap layer. This Basemap layer drop-down is available throughout Tab. You'll go down to Manage. And you'll note here I already have a demo custom one pointing to the demo OSM Z0 to 15 MBTiles file. I want to create a new one. I'm going to call it, well, I want to select MBTiles first. I'm going to select Video. Click Browse. And I'm going to do Video OSM Z013 MBTiles, the one that was just created. Click Open. And then down below, click Add. So now it's added to my list. Click OK. I go to Basemap layer now. I see a video that is selectable. I'll click Video. You'll note here that I'm zoomed way in. This is past zoom level 13. So when you do it in practice, when you don't mind having a larger file, pull up beyond zoom level 13. And there you go. Now I'm using locally loaded MBTiles file for my visualization. Now, as you pull over to the edge of the area, you will see that, this is the edge of what I pulled in. So it's going to be blank beyond that. But for a particular area of interest over which you're going to be operating, you can create an MBTiles, and then you can make a list of the different MBTiles files that you want to use using the Manage function over here. Well, that's it for 7.6.4. We hope you enjoy it. It was a labor of love, and Have a great time. Have a great day. Happy tapping.